Welcome to my YouTube channel, Flight Academy. Today, I bring you a new video in which I will try to explain step by step how to deal with an engine failure in the Airbus 320. But first, let's start with the intro and then enjoy learning.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard, retard, retard.
First of all, for our situational awareness, I'm going to check what we have in our MCDU. If you are interested in how to program an MCDU, I strongly recommend you to check our first video, which you will have it in the description. Prior to departure, it is so important to have a plan in case of an engine failure, because when you have a failure, it is vital to follow these rules. First, fly. Second, navigate. And third, communicate. First of all, and the most important, is to fly the plane. Then, once the plane is under control, the second main duty of a pilot is to navigate, because it doesn't make sense to have a good handling of the plane while we have an emergency and then to crash into the mountain, for example, and then communicate our intentions. As you can see, today we are taking off from the runway 24 right of Palma de Mallorca, and our SID, Standard Instrumental Departure, goes to the sea. In my opinion, it would be a very good plan just to control the plane on the runway heading, climb to 3000, and then turn to the left to Mike Juliet Victor VOR, and then hold there. I think it's a good plan or good strategy in case we have an engine failure. Now it is time to take off, so we increase our speed until we rotate. While we are rotating, we must notice that the side slip is yellow. With positive climb, you are up and we read the FMA, manual flex, SRS, nav. We increase our pitch until around 15 degrees normally, but suddenly we hear a master caution, and in our ECAM appears engine 1 fail, and the side slip turns to blue, which now it is called beta target. Once we have taken off, our main duty is to maintain the control of the plane. That's why it is important this rule, beta pitch toga. Beta, we must keep beta target center. For this we need to trim the plane. Around 5 seconds actually. Pitch. A good pitch is 12.5 degrees nose up. And toga, just keep in mind that if we need more power, toga is available. Once the plane is under control, we must navigate. That's what the pilot flying says pull heading, active secondary, which is where we have our engine out SID, and then manage nav. However, the pilot flying can do it by himself as far as the autopilot is engaged. Now it's time to perform our ECAM. That's why our pilot flying is saying, I have control and communication, ECAM action. Then the pilot monitoring starts with the ECAM. First, he reads the underlined sentence, in this case, engine 1 fail. Any OEB? No OEB. So we read the first line of the ECAM. So engine mode selector, ignition. And when do this action, we say what we have done. Engine mode selector, ignition. Thrust lever 1 idle. Then the pilot flying says, confirm thrust lever 1, and the pilot monitoring answer, confirm, as it is the thrust lever 1, of course. Now we wait 30 seconds till the FADEC tries to restart the engine. If it cannot restart it, we go to the next line. Engine master 1 off. Confirm number 1? Confirm. The next line of our ECAM is if damage, but How do we know we have damage in our engines? It is written in the Flight Crew Techniques Manual. In the case we have damage, we will notice that because the EGT is very high in red, the N1 or N2 are equal to 0. We have loss of oil or hydraulic fluid. We may have loud vibration or buffeting or uncontrollable engine stalls. Then we have to say engine secure. But it's only possible to say engine secure when, if no damage, with engine master is switched off. If there is damage but not fire, when the first agent is finished. If damage, with fire, when the second agent is discharged, although the fire is not extinguished. When the pilot monitoring says engine secure, the pilot flying must check in the MCDU if we are above the thrust reduction altitude with one engine. When we are higher, the pilot flying push to level off, we read at the FMA vertical speed 0, accelerate the plane until we retract completely the flaps. Afterwards, we pass through the green dot, full speed, and then open climb and maximum continuous thrust. Of course, all of this, we must read it on the FMA. Let's see what I have explained in this video. We continue with the ECAM, and the next line is engine shutdown in a box. But what does box mean? Afterwards in the video, I will explain what it is. Next line is if no fuel leak. How can we know if we have fuel leak? We go to our ECAM, to the fuel page, and write down the fuel. We can have an idea just checking the fuel imbalance. We are about to finish the first part of dealing with an ECAM. We put the TCAS on TA. The next part of the ECAM are the secondary failures. It is a small explanation of the system that has been affected for the failure that we have suffered. First, we start reading land ASAP in amber, which means consider landing in the nearest suitable airport. That means it must be fast, but not immediate. The pilot monitoring continues with air bleed, and in the lower ECAM appears the system. It is important to make a quick brief of what we have. The bleed from engine 1 is lost, but the bleed from engine 2 is working properly. After this quick brief, the pilot monitoring says, "Clear air bleed," and the pilot flying answers, "Clear." Then the pilot monitoring pushes the clear button. Electric. The engine number 2 assumes the power missing from engine number 1. It is a good thing to switch on the APU in this moment. Just if something happens to the electrical supply from engine 2, we will have electricity. Clear electric. Clear. Hydraulics. The hydraulic from engine number 2 is supplying the engine 1 through the PTU. Clear hydraulic? Clear. We have finished the secondary failures. It is time to go through the status. When we reach this part, the pilot monitoring says status. And then the pilot flying says stop ECAM. And he always makes himself 3 questions. Any computer reset? Any normal checklist? Any engine relight? In this case, there is no any computer reset. If we are not sure, we can check it on the QRH. Any normal checklist? Yes, after takeoff and climb checklist in this situation. And any engine relight? In this situation, it's also possible to use this checklist because our engine, it has not damage. We are going to consider that it's impossible to restart the engine. Once we have finished with all of this, the pilot flying says continue ECAM, and the pilot monitoring says status, and start to read the status. And then distance procedure apply. If performance permit, cross split open. If not engine damage, consider engine 1 relight. Cat 3 single only, 1 pack only if wing anti-ice on. In operative systems, Cat 3 dual, engine 1 bleed, pack 1, main galley, generator 1, and generator 1 pump. Afterwards, the pilot monitoring asks, remove status? And the pilot flying says, status removed. And then the pilot flying says, ECAM actions completed. At this point, I would like to highlight an unwritten procedure to solve every emergency situation. First is fly, navigate, and communicate, the golden rules. Then is to perform the ECAM. And when the ECAM is finished, we must get all the information we can. First, from QRH, where we can find a summary from Cat 2 and 3 table, or a checklist that in the case of an engine failure, we have one engine in operative straight-in approach. Checklist. ECAM. When I have explained the ECAM, there was a part saying engine shutdown in a box. This procedure is now in the ECAM, abnormal procedure, which basically says that in the wing anti-ice it is only possible to use it in case if there is no damage and with pack off. And the end, the mail. Operational. We must check if we have fuel penalty or fuel imbalance, and above all, if we have fuel to arrive to our landing airdrome. We must check the weather of some airports nearby and calculate our landing distance too. And for ending, the commercial part, which is advise the company and try to select an airport where your company flies. With all this information, we take a decision. Afterwards, we notify our decision to the air traffic controller, the purser, and the passengers. When we notify the situation to the purser, it is a good mnemotechnic rule that needs nature, intention, time, and specials. In our situation is we have an engine fire. Our intention is to come back to the Palma de Mallorca airport. Time will be in 20 minutes and specials will be a precautionary landing. Afterwards, the purser must repeat that. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope it has been useful, and don't forget to follow Flight Academy and visit our webpage flightacademy.info. And remember, the most you enjoy, the most you learn.